And welcome back to Open Line tonight. You're watching News Channel 5 Plus. I'm Matthew Torres. Today we're talking about the village at Glencliff, the micro homes being built in South Nashville at this moment. But also we're talking about affordable housing and homelessness here in the community. And the number right there is on your screen, 615-737+. I know we have some callers right now. Hey, Paula, good evening. What is your question?
Yes, I've just gotten out of the hospital. They cut off my last 2 toes on my left foot. And I don't have any family or friends. I was wondering if they knew of somebody that could maybe help me, because I've tried choices. They turned me down because I'm disabled, but not disabled enough. And I've got another 2 weeks before they'll take the stitches out of my foot. So I'm trying to see if I can get some help somewhere. Right now I'm living in a trailer with 2 cats. I can't take care of me or them.
Well, Paula, sorry about your situation. When you hear someone with that type of cry almost, what do you say to them?
That's really hard. So, unfortunately to say, like, Paula's living in her trailer with, with her 2 cats, and she can't, she can't function there right now with the situation that she's in. And so the folks that we're working with are in very similar situations. People who've, again, had toes removed, just like Paula, from usually because of frostbite or diabetes, like being on the streets all the time, not having a healthy diet, walking and having rubs on their feet, just whatever. People end up in situations like that and can't take care, and that is what happens. That's why we've got to have this safety net, this community, especially for people who are most vulnerable. I mean, there are some kinds of services that are available. I can't tell right now because I don't know what her health insurance is and things like that. But there are, people that could come out and work with her if she was in housing, right? So like getting people into housing helps that, and also it helps from people going back into the hospital. Right now what happens a lot of times is people go into the hospital, they'll have some sort of major situation happen or even minor situation happen. When they're released from the hospital, they're released onto the streets. So at least this would be a situation where they would come home, right? They would have a home where people are caring for them, where there'll be some medical services available, and chances of their risk of getting infection or going back to the hospital is decreased greatly.
Dramatically, yeah.
Dramatically,
so it's always, it's like we're always behind. We're always trying to catch up with these things. But for Paula, who's calling, best thing to do, call social services at Metro. Call the Department of Human Services at the state. And kind of go through the situation. I think you're right. At this point, we don't know, Paula, we don't know all of the things that may, trigger certain types of services.
Absolutely.
But by all means, call social services at Metro, call DHS at the state, and talk to somebody who can maybe provide you with some services. And
while people are tuning in, how can they get a hold of you guys at Open Table?
They can send me an email if they want to. It's info@opentablenashville.org, or our website is opentablenashville.org, and I can give you a phone number in a minute.
No worries, no. We're not putting the pressure. Our lines are flooding up right now. Hey, Brian, what is your question? Good evening.
That girl, Paula, I'd like to offer, I'd like to start a GoFundMe page. I don't know how to do that exactly, and I'd like to contribute $200 and ask you and the 2 co-hosts to also contribute $200 every $800 for her.
Wow.
And Easter blankets and socks. Because she sounds young. She doesn't sound old.
Yeah.
She sounds really stressed. You can tell it in her voice. She sounds really stressed.
Yeah.
So what you can do is
identify that phone number and track her down, because we got to help her.
Yeah, well, hopefully our producer right now in the control room, hopefully you can at least pass the information.
Thank you.
As well.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
Please, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Thomas. Good evening to you, Thomas. What's your question?
Hi, how you guys doing? Well, I'm a friend of Open Table. They helped me out last year, and I'm a homeless vet. I was homeless in Nashville for 3 years. This is my hometown. And these people are here to help. The Metro Homeless Commission helped me and everything, and I'm grateful for it, And you know, I'm in housing now, and I'm getting involved with them and helping them and everything. You know, I lost 4 friends on the street last year before I was able to attain my housing, and this is all because they didn't have safety net care afterwards. You know, and so I just want to commend them for what they're doing and everything. And hi, Ingrid, it's your friend Thomas.
Hey, Thomas, it's good to hear your voice. Thanks for calling in.
That must be great. And I talk about just how many people you guys were able to house within the 7 years.
Yeah. So around 700 people that we've been able to house, and it's the exciting thing is it's not just like, oh, we could raise $800 and move somebody into housing. It was, hey, there's a system now that makes this sustainable for you to be able to stay in this housing. So not just getting folks into housing, but making sure that it's something that they can afford, that they can pay for, that they can continue to live there for years and years and years, right? And so I'm really glad Thomas called in. That makes me really happy.
Things are working.
Yeah.
You know what's remarkable is, because the way I know Open Table Nashville is, I've gone canvassing with them. You know, when it's really cold outside, they go out and they're making sure that people are okay. And what is really amazing is that when they go out and do this, whether it's Ingrid or anybody on her staff, people, they know folks, and the folks know the folks at Open Table. And so when Thomas said, you know, hey Ingrid, you develop, first of all, kind of a relationship.
For sure.
A kind of a safe relationship.
Yeah.
So that, you know, because you're trying to figure out what people need, but you're not trying to overdo it. It really, truly is remarkable.
You're gaining trust during the most vulnerable times, and that is, I think, a great example of that. All right, let's move on. Hey, Linda, good evening. Thank you for calling. What's your question?
Yes, I do not live in the 16th district, but I have a lot of friends that do live over there, and I think some of their concern is, a question I have would be, will those who are living in a tiny village be able to come and go at will, or is there a curfew? And I've got another question too.
Oh, do you want to ask the other question, and then I'll answer both of them.
The other one was medical services. Are they going to be on site for those who are released from the hospital 24/7?
All right, thank you for that.
Thank you. Thanks, Linda, for asking those questions. Those are 2 really good questions. Some of those things we are still working out. Again, we're waiting on the dirt, and we're still working on our program handbook. We will have medical services available for folks. I'm not sure that it'll be 24/7, but we'll be partnering with some healthcare folks, professionals who will be able to work with folks depending on their needs, their various needs, and they'll be coming there to the site. The other part right now, we don't have a curfew as of right now for our folks. Most of the folks who are there are not going to stay out late. These are folks who are probably going to want to be in bed by the time my parents go to bed. You know what I mean? They're gonna want to be in bed by 8:30 at least, or 9. Folks, yeah, I see people being tired a lot, right? Because they never get a good night's sleep when they're outside. It's always like they're sleeping with one eye open for safety. And so usually what we see when we have resource shelters also on the 2nd and 4th Friday nights, and usually what we see when friends come in to sleep is that they go to sleep right away, right? And especially people who are more vulnerable. I'm sure that people have a vision in their mind of what that might look like, but I'm pretty sure that the folks that are going to be there are going to want to be inside after dark.
Which I'm sure that's one of the concerns from some of the neighbors there. All right, let's move on now. Hey, David, thank you for holding. What is your question?
Well, I had a comment.
Okay.
Thanks for taking the call. I'm an Air Force veteran. I'm a little biased towards the veterans anyway. I've just kind of wondered, this is the first I've heard of this. I've thought about this for a while, why they didn't have parks, excuse me, for veterans to live in. There's so many homeless veterans out there. I thought about when I started watching these tiny house shows, they could build a whole bunch of these for these veterans to live into. Now, like I say, this is the first I've heard of this. I didn't even know Nashville was doing it. We got so much money and so many corporations in this town that they can get enough money and people together to help these people out.
Hey, David, do you want to come and help us fundraise?
Oh, I can do it. It don't matter to me. I mean, I'm just saying that, you know, I have never heard about this. I've thought about it and wondered why it wasn't going on. And because, you know, not just like I say, I'm just biased because I'm Air Force anyway, but there's a lot of homeless veterans that are not being taken care of, and not only through the VA, which is bad enough, but they need a place to go if they can't get there, you know. So, but I think it's a great idea. You guys are doing a good job, and you know, I'm glad you're thinking about everybody, and just want to tell you, I appreciate what you're doing, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
David, thank you for that comment. I have family members in the Air Force as well, so this is obviously for veterans a pretty big deal. But
it's people like David. I mean, that's hopefully kind of the Nashville spirit, is that what I appreciate is that David was thinking through kind of the same idea. And you know, we talk about affordable housing. We need like 31,000 units. Wow. I mean, we're so far behind, but we have to start. And this is, again, a great step forward. So if you can get it right this time, and there'll be, you know, it's taken a while, and you got to tweak it and whatever. But if you can get it started, then people like David can continue on, and we can do more. Yeah. And people will see, wait a minute, this is a good thing. It's not, you know, we've learned from it. It's not a bad thing. It's a great thing. And we're Nashvillians. Everybody wants a place to call home. Yep. And that's what this does. Yeah, and David, if you're still listening, I hope that you heard that Thomas was a veteran, the first person who called. He's a veteran, one of our good friends. Also, though, because of this model has been out and is on our website, some folks in East Tennessee have seen it and are interested in doing a veteran microhome village. So watch for that. Again, you're creating a plan, and it seems like that is part of the goal. Yeah. Okay, so we'll delve more into this topic. Those who are calling in, please hang on. We'll get to your calls in just a bit. Again, open line. We'll come back after the break.